And why the heck do I want to spend $70,000 on a photograph? Crazy. I agree. Okay, so today I went out to do my Christmas shopping, and instead of buying gifts for everyone else like I should have been, I ended up buying a book for myself. Ansel Adams, 400 photographs, starting in chronological order, going from the beginning of his career all the way to the end of his career. I don't own a lot of photo books, which is crazy considering I'm a photographer. I think I have one from Jeremy Koreski and then maybe another one from any other photographer. I have a lot of magazines, I have a lot of photography technique books, but when it comes to actual photo books from artists who are photographers, I really don't have anything. From the moment that I started sifting through the first few pages and going through literally some of Ansel Adams' first works, here was a guy who was already 10 years into his photography career, and he was just sort of becoming more of an artist. His earlier work was a lot more documentary. It was a lot more capturing places that he traveled to with his family. And the progression he made in those 10 years was so amazing. So anyways, what does this have to do with the fact that I want to buy a really expensive photograph? Basically, if you want to buy an original print, something that was handmade by Ansel Adams himself, it's going to cost you anywhere from $4,000 to $70,000 or more, depending who you're buying from. And why the heck do I want to spend $70,000 on a photograph? Crazy. I agree. But there's a few reasons for it that actually kind of make sense when you start breaking it down a little bit. And obviously for me, they can be a little bit more personal as well. From an investment, money spending perspective, it actually kind of makes sense to purchase an Ansel Adams print because it is going to go up in value, and ideally at the end of the day, if you really wanted to, there could be a point in the future where you could sell it for more than you bought it for and actually make money off of it. Secondly, let's just be honest, it would be so cool to say that I had an original Ansel Adams piece of artwork hanging on my wall. If you're a photographer, you know who Ansel Adams is. Maybe you don't know why you know who Ansel Adams is, but you have definitely heard of Ansel Adams before. Even if you're not a photographer, you've probably heard of Ansel Adams before. But why? Do you know why? A lot of people don't know why they know the name. I'm one of those people. I did not know who Ansel Adams was really until one of my photography mentors taught me about him and informed me about how crucial he was to processing in the darkroom and printmaking, and he developed the entire zone system, which was absolutely groundbreaking back in the day when you were shooting film photography. It was just otherworldly. It was almost a science. It was a science. You know, you're working with chemicals in the darkroom and creating these reactions on photo paper that create these beautiful black and white images. He really paved the way for a lot of the foundational techniques that made a lot of other photographers very successful. As well, he took extremely beautiful images, and his compositions and his pure talent with his photography was, you know, second to none. And his photos are very powerful. They speak a lot, and you know, he had an eye to really capture emotion through landscapes and translate that into a way that, you know, people could resonate with. He wasn't exactly an environmentalist by today's standards, I don't think, but he for sure helped pave the way to give a greater understanding of the importance and the beauty of nature to a wider population. And I think lastly, why I want to buy an Ansel Adams print is just because I think it's so cool that you can buy this physical thing, this physical piece of art that he made with his own hands in the darkroom, developed himself, washed himself. That to me is the coolest thing. In film photography, half of the work is taking the photo. The other half, if not more than the other half, is developing your film, making your print, developing your print, and hoping that you got it right and that you're exposing correctly. And I know from my own personal experience, it takes a lot of work to make a beautiful, stunning print that's perfectly exposed. Yeah, I just have a lot of respect for that. And I just think it would be really cool to have the master of printmaking, one of his pieces on my wall. I just think that's the coolest thing. Good artwork can't be results-based, I don't believe. I think it has to come from purely just loving the process and just wanting to make art for the sake of making art. And that's what these images honestly speak to me. You know, this is a guy that was taking these photographs way back at a time when there was no Instagram, there was no online, no one was seeing these photographs other than him and maybe a few people around him when he first started. And so it was purely just for the love of these places and for the love of creating photographs. And to me, that's just really powerful. And so, you know, I know it's gonna take some time. I got a bit of saving to do before I wanna spend $40,000 to $70,000 on an Ansel Adams print. But it's a goal that I have now, and I think it's something worthy of working towards from an investment standpoint, but also from a personal achievement standpoint. I would love to have an Ansel Adams print on my wall just to remind me that, you know, I love photography and I want to keep pursuing photography and I want to keep making beautiful images, and I want to affect the world with my images and affect the way maybe people think or the way people look at wild places or adventure sports or whatever it may be. So yeah, do you want to buy an Ansel Adams print? Totally cool if not. I understand because it's a lot of money, but let me know in the comments down below if anything I've said has resonated with you. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.